Hey, I'm back. So I'm going to work through these practice problems that are in the notes, and I'm going to be switching from the notes to the whiteboard. So I'm going to be going back and forth. So the first problem in the notes, it says a storm is 10 kilometers away and is moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Should you be worried? So in that problem, we are given distance, and that equals 10 kilometers. And we are given speed of 60 kilometers per hour. So we're not going to be calculating speed, we're actually going to be calculating time. So remember, our formula is speed is distance over time. So I'm going to plug in my values for what I'm given. So I have 60 equals 10 over time. So I'm going to multiply 60 times t, and I get 60t equals 10. I want to get t by itself because I'm solving for time. So I'm going to divide by 60. And that value, I'm going to divide 10 divided by 60. And time is 0.17, I'm going to round up, hours. Which is roughly about 10 minutes. So yes, you should be a little concerned that the storm is 10 minutes away. Okay, I want to go back to the second problem. Clear my screen there. Let's see here. All right, so these are kind of done for you, but I want to walk through those. So it says on the next one, if you walk for 1.5 hours and travel 7.5 kilometers, what is your average speed? So I'm going to go back to my whiteboard and work number 2. So I like to write what I'm given. So I have 1.5 hours, so I've got time. So t equals 1.5 hours. And then I'm also given a distance of 7.5 kilometers. So I'm going to be solving for speed. S equals d over t. And so I want to have s equals 7.5 divided by 1.5. And this is where you need a calculator. And I'm going to get s equals 5. I have to have my units. And so my distance unit was kilometers. And my time unit was hours. So that is going to be 5 kilometers per hour. Okay, I'm going to go back to the second one here. It says calculate the speed of a bee. It's flying 22 meters in 2 seconds. So again, looking for speed. There's the bell. So on that B one, I'm just going to call it number 3. I was given a distance of 22 meters. And it says it's flying that in 2 seconds. So I have a time of 2 seconds. So I am looking for speed. So again, speed equals distance over time. I'm going to plug in my values that I was given. So I was given distance of 22 over a time of 2. And so my speed is going to equal 11. And I have units for distance of meters and time per second. So meters per second is how the speed of that be. Okay, going next. It says a bicyclist travels 60 kilometers in 3.5 hours. So looking for his average speed, so the total amount. So during that bicyclist trip, the total distance was 60 kilometers and the total amount of time was 3.5 hours. So I'm going to go back to my whiteboard. I'm just going to call this one number 4, but it's the bicyclist one. So I know my bicyclist, it told me, covered 60 kilometers and the amount of time it took that cyclist to cover 60 kilometers, the total trip was 3.5 hours. So I'm going to look for average speed. So speed equals, let me get this, distance over time. So I have 60 over 3.5, and divide those out. And let's get, say, 17.14, and that is kilometers per hour. So that's a pretty good speed. I'm used to miles per hour. I don't know what that would be in miles because we're not in metric. Miles isn't metric, but they will be traveling 17 kilometers per hour. Okay, I think last problem, yeah. Last problem here as far as practice. So looking for average speed of a car that's traveled 300 miles in 5.5 hours. So let's go back to my whiteboard. And again, we're looking for average speed because it's the total amount of distance over the total amount of time. So we had the car, it said the distance it covered was 300 miles. And it did that as far as time in 5.5 hours. So again, we have speed equals distance over time. And plug in my values that I was given. So I was given 300 for my distance and 5.5 for my time. I'm going to divide those two. So notice you're either dividing or multiplying the whole time. So 300 divided by 5.5 is 54. I'm going to round up, 54.5. My units for distance was miles, and my unit for time was hours. So I'm going to say 54.5 miles per hour. And that is my answer there. So on Canvas, there are a couple practice questions that are multiple choice for you to do, but I highly recommend having a scrap piece of paper beside me while I'm doing those so I can work those problems out and get used to working that formula. Bye!